Anyway, moving on to our next topic, 4-day work weeks, brought to you by the study of never returning full-time to work after COVID. It was the biggest study that's come out, doing a trial, and like a lot of the companies actually ran with it and kept the 4-day work week.
Polling shows that Americans in particular really like this idea. One poll showed that 70% of American workers support the 4-day work week, and half of people believe that it would make them more productive. So, you know, even if the workers want this, though, they are not ultimately going to be the ones who make the call, right? That is the employers. What do you think it would take to convince them that the 4-day work week would actually benefit them?
Well, I don't want to sort of back with philosophy, but the question isn't really what will it take to make it work. It's what are we trying to achieve? We're trying to achieve post-pandemic a better equilibrium where the working person doesn't feel like a machine. And it's 100 years ago, nearly, since Henry Ford first introduced the 5-day working week, which was a similar response to workers saying, we're feeling...
That was actually a piece of history I did not know. The Henry Ford discovered the 5-day work week. What's the name of the dude who discovered the 4-day work week? Did they not want to be named? Like, they're like, dude, I'm way too fucking late. Like, don't even put my name out there. I don't even want a part of this. I don't know. Anyone I know, and even myself included, because I'm a freelancer. So I work freelance. So I work freelance before a company. It's quite a conundrum, actually, because I work pretty much full time. However, on the weeks that I have 3 or 4 shifts, and that's by choosing most of the time because I could work more, I actually feel better. I feel like I have more time for myself, other things in my life. It gives me a little bit more structure. And then, of course, anyone I know that's already, like, their company has already switched over to the 4-day work week, or they've been working the 4-day work week, goddamn, do they live better lives, especially if it's structured. And see, obviously, me as freelance, that can be sporadic. So even those 3 or 4 shifts I'm talking about, they're kind of strung like all over the week, even though it gives me more time. The people who have the consistency of working that Monday to Thursday and getting the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even in the summer, you know, like you see companies like they transition to summer, what's called summer hours. Actually, some of the companies here in Canada that did adopt 4-day work weeks, that's what happened. What they would do is they would go down to quote unquote summer hours for, you know, the summer, and they would give like that half day on the Friday, or they would just do the 4-day work week and then have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And some of them never went back after that because they realized how much productivity and work-life balance they were offering their employees. So, I mean, I think it's fucking amazing. Thank God for you know, some good things did come out of the pandemic, not just conspiracy theories and, you know, political views that could tear us all to fucking shreds at some point in time. But yeah, I think like this is like really important for sure. And I'm glad that this is like a study that's happening, because I think as we go on and as we like evolve as like a species, I think like having that balance is so important to all of our lives, because you can't be all, I've been that. I've gone down these roads. I have from experience. I've been all work and no play. And let me tell you, you could be driven to being a dude swinging an axe through a door, like in The Shining. All work and no play makes Matt a dull boy. Let me tell you, that's why you need like that balance. And then after college, I went to school for radio. I didn't want to do that. So what did I do for like 8 months? I was just living life in the fast lane. I was just having fun, traveling, like doing nothing important. That's for damn sure. But I was just like living like my best life, so to speak. But like when you're doing nothing, it's like it's fulfilling but disappointing, and it's not necessarily as fulfilling. It's fun, but not necessarily as fulfilling. But then again, also working for a corporate shill piece of shit company that fucking likes to lay off people and treat people like shit. Also not fun either. So all I got to say is focus on yourself, and yeah, maybe create your own structure and give yourself your own schedule that will lead to a better life. You know, maybe you don't need to rely on a company to give you that work-life balance. Maybe you could find your own through your own passions. Who knows? Maybe you start a stream. Maybe you start a dog walking business. Here's your ticket, kid. Go get it. So anyway, back to the video.
Crushed by the oppression of our routines. And so what it would take to get productivity and engagement and happy workers back is probably the more relevant question, because there isn't a one size fits all. So the 4-day week may work super well in places where remote working and hybrid work schedules are really difficult, like where you have to go into the factory or you have to go into the place of work. So a 4-day week may appease the workforce better there to say, look, if you want to jam your work in the 4 days a week and get it done, that's
You want to
great,
jam that in.
we can't offer you remote work. But another workplace may find that it's creating all sorts of micro stresses because you can't actually get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. She brings up a very valid point that you feel like you're kind of up against it. You're in crunch time. Obviously, having one less day to get your work for the week done. Now, I can understand that, but how I've always like looked at things like this, especially as I said, you know, my schedule personally, in my experience, it's sporadic. So even though I'm like working 3-4 times a week, if I so choose, I might not have 2 days off in a row. And I've always said, if you have a 5-day work week, you're off Saturday, Sunday. That first day is generally running errands, getting caught up with things around the house, doing that stuff. And then if you're lucky and you're all done that on Sunday, you get to relax. And then you're back to the work grind. Having that third day implemented is such a great buffer because that could allow you to run all the errands, get them done, and then have 2 days for relaxation, recentering, getting back to it, and then returning to the grind, as it were. I honestly, I just don't understand it. And another thing I don't really understand, and why, like, I was also like looking at this whole thing of the 4-day work week, is because she did say it in that video, more talking about factory workers or people that have to go into the building being kind of aimed at them. And I completely agree. You should not be spending more time than you have to. I still think it applies to hybrid or remote workers because I don't know about everyone, but I think with COVID and like how it all worked out with remote work, it became so much easier to just pass along information and the wheel, I feel like it churns a lot faster now. But my point is that remote work, why are companies wheeling that back? And I try to think about it, and you have like your standard answers. I actually looked up the Forbes article talking about it's giving the real reasons why companies don't want you to work remotely. And they're pretty standard. They're everything you would think about from a standpoint of a business that you would come to. Middle management is running scared. The job of middle and senior managers is to crack the whip and ensure everyone is earning their pay. Many supervisors enjoy the power to lord over you. See, that's what I mean, man. But like, that's all. Like, here's the way I look at it. Remote work is a new thing. The ability, because the internet technology has grown to allow us the ability to do the job we do for some of us, not most of us, I should say. It's kind of 50-50. It has allowed us to do it from home. And they don't want to completely innovate because this is innovation. But they're holding on to old policies because there would be middle management like the ass lickers, like they would go. And we all know that upper management needs that ass licked, honey. They need that ass clean, douched even by middle management. So that's why they're not getting rid of them. And then, of course, we have expensive real estate. Major corporations have invested small fortunes in purchasing, leasing, and refurbishing office space. Okay, I agree. Now, if you're renting, you have a lease on it. Yes, obviously, you can't do much with that. If you own the property, you could just sell, liquidate, whatever, the property. You don't need huge office buildings anymore, especially if your employees are working remote. This is just another excuse. You could easily move servers or whatever else you need and house them in a smaller, less expensive space where you don't need to accommodate a gigantic workforce and have office space, yada, yada, yada. All right. This one is kind of dumb and redundant. Hard work. Having everyone together under one roof is relatively easy. Not necessarily. See, the thing is, and one thing that definitely happened at my workplace is with the implementation of remote work, less office drama. Of course, it's still there, but you're not seeing everyone every day. People aren't seeing those people they don't like. They're not getting into spats all the time. Obviously, it's not a perfect world. There's always going to be someone disgruntled, someone mad at the other, someone not carrying their weight, you name it. But seeing that firsthand and being a part of that, oh my gosh, you realize that's the thing. When you get into your career and you start working in like in an office space, you realize that high school never ended. The gossip, the talking, all the talking behind the sliminess, the just, it's no, we don't need that. Now, do I get like that there's isolation, of course, from working remote? Yes, I'm not naive. I've felt it. You know, one of the best parts about my job is I work with a lot of my friends, and we would have a fucking we'd have a gay old time when we were working together. It was great. You know, but at the same time, the convenience and our work-life balance, which of course everyone is trying to achieve, is way better. And unfortunately, it's not worth the hangout at work. But going in every now and again, like once a week, I think that works. It's not healthy to do one thing. It's like I kind of started out this whole point with, you know, it wasn't healthy when all I was doing was consumed and working. It wasn't healthy. And when I was doing no work and all that, it wasn't healthy either. You need that balance of working, even if it's like you're not, like I said, even though if you're not working for a corporation, you're working towards something in your life. You need that. Yeah, there you go. See, look, who would have thought that this was going to be like a motivational thing? And then the hard work one is the last one. I think I might have, results, not hours. That's the first one I skipped over. Results, not hours. That's what it says. Pre-pandemic, the goal for workers was to show how steadfastly you labored all day long under flickering fluorescent lights. It's all about FaceTime. When your manager sees you, he feels you're being productive. Do I sound like Tucker Carlson? Should I read it like that? Could I read it like him? We'll try. When your manager, no, dude, that's not who he sounds at all. I can't do it. When your manager sees you, he feels that you're being productive, even if you're just searching Amazon for the next bargain deal. I don't have any papers to like click. Hold up. Yeah. I admit, pre-COVID-19, I counseled people. What the fuck? Where's this going? This whole article. Anyway, whatever. I think I've said whatever I need to say